what's this called?
Foundation training.
Yeah, we gotta get a couple.
Sticks.
We need to do a hip hinge tutorial by the end of this podcast.
I think that's how we'll finish it.
Let's finish with a hip hinge tutorial in the studio. We'll get the mics all right, dude. Because
the only time it has to be not underneath the golden arches this time.
Exactly. That's what I was gonna say. The last time we sent the hip hinge was on our way back home from Chicago.
Yeah.
All of us stopped at McDonald's and we're like, all right, we've just been sitting in the car for way too long. We need to get loose, find our equilibrium again. So we all started doing the
sphere of tension.
The sphere of tension. And then we were like, all right, I don't know if this is perfect. So we sent it to you and you gave us some corrections.
I mean, you took the feedback well.
Went into McDonald's, ate some food, came out, retook the photo, and then you're like, all right, you guys nailed it.
You're like, Decky needs to get his ass out.
Yeah. Decky, stick that ass out. I mean, that wasn't that wasn't the last time. The last time was on Bochella.
Yeah.
That's right.
We hip hinged right off that boat.
Yep. And I think some a guest of ours tried to photobomb our hip hinge, and I was trying to block her out with a little more external rotation.
That's good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I just don't think she got it.
No, she wasn't in the right kind of vibe as what we were trying to put off.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Oh man, don't throw her under the bus like that, dude. We were trying to get better. She wasn't at the time. That's where you're going at.
No, I'm just saying we were trying to find a foundation, and she was trying to get groovy.
She's foundationless. But that's good for dancing.
Exactly. There's different perspectives you can take on.
I know. I'm just trying to. I'm not trying to throw her under the bus.
I'm not trying to throw her under the bus.
And we're not. Yeah. And we don't throw people under the bus on this podcast.
There's
no buses on this podcast. There you go, Matt. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
What back-end show is this?
This is number 30, and this is a new format, and we're very excited to introduce Dr. Matt Wiest to the back-end show. We had the fortune of having you on our show last October. Do you remember the exact episode? You listened to it today?
Yeah, so Season 2, Episode 34. The podcast came out on October 1st of 2018.
That's rolling right around.
And what was
12 months.
Yeah, solid 12, like literally on the day almost. And what was so funny was on that day over a year ago, we had recorded your podcast probably a little bit before, but our intro to the podcast was me describing my first time ever at Altar. And it was so funny that we were all three at Altar this morning at 5:30. And it was awesome. But me describing like what Altar was like for the first time was so funny. I was like, it's Rainbow Road. They just got a ton of music going on, blaring in your face. No lights.
I remember this.
And Matt Wiest steps up, and he's just this big Hulk Hogan dude. He's like, let's get moving.
That's awesome.
So nuts, man.
And now you're just a pro in there.
Oh,
putting on Altar clinics.
I'm a vet now. Yes. I would say I'm a seasoned vet.
So at that point, I had not worked out since football ended. And
I didn't know this.
So I was like just avoiding working out at all costs. I was like, I don't want to get back in and get embarrassed. And Declan was just like pushing me. You got to do Altar. You got to do Altar. And he was trying to use the Rainbow Road and the EDM, the things that I love. I love Mario Kart and I love EDM music. So he's just trying to push that.
You got this.
You got this. And then we had Vinny on, I believe the end of November, maybe beginning of December. And I was like, all right, we had the owner on. I have to go. And I did my free week and I was hooked. And
I think you might be there more than Decky now. I don't know. It's pretty close.
So this is breaking news. This workout we did this morning was my first time back at Altar in 7 weeks.
Wow.
From my ankle injury.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you sent me a quick note. Make sure you floss and do some one-legged ankle stability.
Yeah.
But that
wait, you texted him asking for like what you should do about your ankle, or
no? I posted it.
I texted him. I was like, what'd you do?
Look at this. The doc.
Taking care of the boys. Come on.
I appreciated it because I needed it, and it took me 7 weeks to get back in there. It was a painful injury.
But like I was talking to you about off air, Matt, and just for the listeners a little bit, trying to understand where Backpocket's at after 30 weeks of podcasting is we've built a lot of cool relationships on this podcast. I mean, not to brag, we've had ever since last year around this time, this is when we really started to find really, really cool, meaningful relationships in the Twin Cities, you being absolutely one of those. And the problem, honestly, with one of those things, not to brag, is these people like yourself, hit us up for, hey, let's meet up. Hey, let's do this. Hey, let's do that. And we're like, okay, we can sit down and have a conversation over coffee or over beers or a happy hour, but why don't we just record a podcast and do the same thing?
I love it.
And it's content for you. It's content for us. We all win. We're drinking gin and tonics, and it's the Back End Show.
It's the Back End Show, a little more casual. And I'd like to start, Matt. You were feeling a little under the weather coming last night.
Yeah.
And the battling the challenge of not getting sick from your kids is an everyday battle.
Oh, yeah.
You right when they catch a cold, it's immediately pounding vitamin C, right?
Sure.
I mean, that's the only answer.
Got to ante up.
Ante up. Like it's a struggle with kids. We're lucky,
And it's back to school.
So there's other kids getting your kids.
All the kids.
Oh my gosh.
So what is back to school week like?
I mean, back to school week for us, we have a 3-year-old and a 2-year-old. So
Okay.
So my
Hot and
3-year-old,
heavy.
yeah. So 3-year-old's back to 5 days or 5 hours a week preschool, just grinding it out.
5 hours a week,
5
so
hours
1
a
hour
week.
a day.
Yeah. No, it's 2.5 hours a day, I think.
Okay.
And then my little girl Georgia, she's I think she's crushing out like 90 minutes a week right now.
Wow.
Sweet.
So yeah, it's good stuff. But
So your wife's at home with the kids, and you're
yeah, she might be
Working
watching
with-
right now.
okay.
I don't know.
Oh God, she's probably tuning in with the kids. Don't screw up.
Is
Don't-
the grading
don't screw it
scale
up.
at that point? Is
Say
it
it's A's and B's. Yeah.
A's and B's?
Yeah.
I remember. I think I had numbers.
There's no grading.
There's no grading.
No.
I swear we got numbers of
preschool.
like if they were like communicating with other kids, then you get
maybe.
like a 3, and if you were just like continuing to sit off in the corner and like throw temper tantrums, you get like a 0, and you'd get like semesterly grades, but you wouldn't see them. Your parents would see them just to kind of give them a little heads up on how.
I'll have to keep my eyes out for
Interactive.
that one. I don't know.
Yeah.
We haven't gotten there
was-
yet. It's week 2.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So man, I mean, how you been, dude?
I've been good. Yeah, just yeah, it's been a full summer. So
Yeah. So you had the movement series.
Yeah,
And that's
did
coming
that.
to an end.
it's done now. It
It's
was
done
done
now.
last Tuesday.
So I missed every
You
movement
missed
series.
every single one. That's okay.
pretty
And
fucked up.
you actually, I'll call you out. You bailed on Saturday.
Yeah,
too.
no, this is we don't need to jump to it right away, but I'll jump to it myself.
I heard some backstory. It's all right.
Yeah. So,
Mark, Jordan,
Yeah.
Steve were there.
They were there. Yeah.
Mhm.
look, if that's how it has to be, where the people that I invite to it show up, like that's good
That's all
value.
that matters.
Yeah, I get that. But yeah, my average quality for sure, and we don't need to jump into it right away, but while we're here, we might as well address it. My average quality is showing up to your events that you invite me to every week, and I feel really shitty about it. This week in particular, I was at like an EDM concert until 3 a.m.
That's fair.
So no chance I was showing up at 9:30.
It wasn't gonna happen.
Yeah, and it wasn't like a yoga thing this time either.
No, and I kind of left that a secret, but people found out pretty quick.
Yeah, you're like, bring
Yeah.
your running shoes. I was
Yeah.
like, oh no.
That sounds terrible.
How was it though?
It was good. Yeah, it was really good because it was moving in the direction that I want to with these kinds of things. So it was like a good test, I guess, test the battlefield, and it was good because the feedback was there, and yeah, I was pretty nervous though because it was a little more raw. So we did a lot of like the whole summer movement series was based around mental health and just bringing more awareness to what physical health can do for your mental health. So like what group fitness does for the mind. And this final, I guess the finale was Saturday. So there was a lot of pushing people out of their comfort zone for sure. So like we partnered them up with people they didn't know to do the workout together. There's some back-to-back action for the cool down where some uncomfortable. I made people uncomfortable getting out of their box. But yeah, it was good. It was fun.
Yeah, Mark mentioned when he was doing the burpees, his partner wasn't very talkative during that portion. So he was just like, all right, if that's how it's going to be, like, I'm not going to make eye contact because this is going to be a struggle for me. So he was going like 10 times harder just to like exhaust himself, make it seem like he was just pushing himself to extremes.
And it was fun to look around and just see how people, some people were all in and some people just happened to know their partner. Other people were uncomfortable, but that was kind of our goal, was just like, hey, like, and by the end of it, everyone was laughing. People had a good time, and we just wanted to show people like there's a lot. Just get in uncomfortable situations and let's sweat together and let's have some fun.
Sweet.
So, yeah.
So how many movement series did you do
We
throughout the
did
summer?
we did 17 in 15 weeks. So
Holy
it was we had 2 days that we had, or 2 weeks where we had 2.
Okay.
But otherwise it was 15 weeks, a different gym each time. So
You
Yeah.
never repeated locations.
never repeated locations.
That's pretty cool.
Wow.
And
So-
was that one of the goals starting?
Yeah, well, we called them tour dates. So we had the tour dates set before we even announced it. So we kind of were in touch with these gyms, and we kind of set everything up before. And then we had a few other gyms that the days didn't work, and we wanted to include them. So that's why we doubled up on a few. And then just went for it. So
Sweet.
we raised $6,100 over the summer for people donating to do the classes. And yeah, it was cool. By the end of it, there was a lot of repeat offenders that kind of knew each other, but at first it was just like a whole bunch of strangers coming to these weird gyms that they've, like, yogis doing CrossFit, CrossFitters trying meditation classes, people that have done like altar for the first time, never stepped foot in a gym, and that's their first experience. So it was cool. Yeah.
That's awesome. Was this something that you've been planning throughout 2018 and ready to instill in 2019? When did you start putting together the formula for this?
So I guess it kind of started at it sort of started at our 2-year party last year, where we included a lot of the gyms to come together and kind of have like a bunch of different giveaways. So part of my vision is just like making this space a lot smaller than it seems. And when I say space, I just mean like the fitness scene or the movement scene in the Twin Cities. So I think that a lot of people really get tied or linked to what they do in life, and that I saw it a lot with friends that played hockey. It's like you become a hockey player, you become a football player, and once that's gone, you lose that sense of like identity in a sense. So similar to gyms, I mean, a lot of people, like, they identify as like, well, I'm a yogi, I could never throw around a barbell. Or maybe it's the opposite. Maybe I'm a power lifter and I don't want to be jumping around
Doing burpees.
to EDM, doing
Yep.
burpees. Yeah. And so part of my vision is like, you know what, we're all just trying to move. We're all just trying to sweat. A big part of that is the mental health piece. I've asked my patients now for over 2 years, like, why they work out, and 95% of them, it's just because they want to like be with their people and for a stress it's not because they're trying to get jacked. Like, it's not all about the physical benefits, it's really about the mental benefits. So trying to tap into that a little bit more and show people that there's a lot of depth to that.
Cool. And I think that's an awesome way of putting it, for coming from someone who stopped working out and didn't have the football community and then started working out at Alter. I mean, it's been a breath of fresh air going there, having that place, because I work by myself from home with Caleb.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Yep. So we do that, but we're usually doing like Skype calls or Zoom calls to communicate daily.
Yeah.
So I'm by myself for the majority of the day. So my 1 hour at Alter is when I get to actually like communicate and hang out with a bunch of people.
Time.
It's my social time.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love it. And when I lost that for 7 weeks, I was starting to not have the same mental health as I had prior.
Mm-hmm.
So you hitting these points of like the physicality, physical fitness leading to beneficial mental health. I mean, you're speaking right to me, and I experienced all of that.
For sure. No, and I think that's a big part is like we don't realize like how much of that, like the reason that we go to the gym. I think it's not like anyone's asking you that every day, I guess.
Yeah.
So, but if you really think about it, it's a lot of people. It's just like, hey, I just want to be with my people, or I want to push myself because I used to be an athlete, and this is the way to like mentally and physically push myself. And it's just a lot of depth to it.
Right on.
Well, I also like and appreciate and kind of envy what you're doing, in a sense where you're taking the fitness niche as a whole and showing that it's smaller and more connected than more people would think. Like, I look at an Alchemy or, another boutique fitness place that would maybe more or less be a competitor of Alter, and I'm not that I don't want to go there. I'll for sure go and try it, but if I were to walk into one of those studios, I'd be a total stranger.
For sure.
But at the end of the day, like, you're putting these events together around everybody who has the same similar interests and showing like, hey, dude, this is actually a bigger community than you think. How effective has that been? I mean, you've done 17 of them. Have you seen it grow significantly in that time?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to measure growth, I guess, in this situation, because as far as numbers go, like, every gym has a max capacity to their class, right?
Sure.
So we were fortunate that I think we like pumped it early enough that most of the classes were sold out. So there was not really much room to grow as far as like the amount of people in the classes. But I think where the growth happened was just like the vibe as the weeks went on. It was just like, you're right, like exactly like you said, like at first it was like people just sitting on there by themselves, like, oh man, I'm the awkward new person here. But then they slowly realized like, we're all the awkward new person, because this is not like our quote unquote like our home gym. Like we're not members here necessarily. We're all just kind of coming together and doing our thing. And I think it was cool to see like those people. I mean, I think there was 24 people that went to, so we had a giveaway with Lululemon Ridgedale. If you went to 5 classes, you got put in for a drawing for some apparel, and there was 24 people that hit more than 5 classes, and there was like 9 that went to more than 10, and that was there's a giveaway for Halo Cryo. But yeah, so there was a core group.
I still need to do that, by the way.
Yeah, you got to do it.
I did win.
Oh, you did win. Oh,
I did win the first time.
You're not cashing in. Come on.
I freaking tried. They I don't know. They've been tough to get in touch with. So
Oh, you're blaming them?
Repeat email.
You're a victim.
I'm playing victim to cryotherapy. That's what I'm doing on
Make
this
sure you
podcast.
wear socks and slippers.
Dude, I'm not wearing anything.
Well, Antonio Brown had burned feet. Don't wear some socks and slippers.
Don't be that guy.
Don't be that guy.
Okay.
But yeah.
Remember when you said, hold on real quick.
Yeah.
Remember when you said that cryotherapy was how women got pregnant?
I don't know how that came about.
Show him the video, dude. That's so ridiculous. So
I'll
absurd.
show him after.
Yeah, sorry. But yeah, it's
That's
crazy.
awesome.
Sorry, Andrew.
No,
Threw you under the bus. Dude.
No, that happened. I miss.
And that could be part of it. I don't know.
It could be something. There could be something there.
Like Andrew's unpacking a study that not a lot of people are focusing on.
Mhm.
I would say.
Sure.
What I want to know is like these are events that you're throwing every single week, and as event planners ourselves, Andrew and I, we like throwing events, but at the same time when we're in it, we're like, God, dude, fuck these events. Like these things are so stressful.
They're exhausting. Yeah.
They're so exhausting. So I want to know, like, from your experience, throwing 17 of them in 15 weeks, fitting them all into a summer, how has that been on your mental psyche?
Well, that was a real stupid thing on my part, is because I just thought we were doing this Summer Movement Series, and I was like, oh, that's one event that's just gonna last all summer. But you're right, it was 17 separate events, because really each gym, like trying to fill those spots, marketing to different people, and like bringing people to each space was a totally individual event each time. Mm-hmm. But it's actually, I guess, I mean, there's parts that were tough and like tiring for sure, and not being home on Tuesday nights. This is my first Tuesday off, and I'm hanging with you guys, so yeah.
Hey, appreciate that.
Wow, thanks.
But I realized a lot about myself, or I guess rediscovered lots like that. I love it. Like I thrive in that. I miss that already, and I think that it's actually kind of changed the trajectory of where I want to take my business, is more into events and like just bringing people together. So yeah, it was. I mean, I don't think it didn't hurt me.
No. You don't look hurt.
Yeah, I feel good.
That's very similar to like Andrew and I, though. I mean,
like you kind of live for the stress a little bit. Like
it's
like the grind is. I mean, it's similar to everything else that we've talked about. It's like sometimes the grind is good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
And I can speak for all three of us. We care about the individuals coming to the events having the best time possible. Mm-hmm. We want to go the extra length and do everything possible to make sure each person feels welcomed, feels included, feels like they had a great time. And when that happens and the event's over, you're just like, wow, that was awesome that this team of people came together and were able to create this little thing for an hour, 3 hours, wherever it may be. And everyone's having a great time, gets a breath of fresh air from whatever stress they have during the day. And from the events that we've thrown 3 or 4 events now. You were able to come to Bochella, and that one we can talk about in a little bit. But you having to put on one every week and then seeing similar faces, seeing new faces, challenging yourself with new locations every single time, I applaud you for that. And then including that with your business, how have you been able to take these events and help Center of Movement kind of grow and see kind of correlation between the two? Yeah,
I mean, I guess obviously there's some growth motive behind that for the Center of Movement, but the cool thing is, like, I think the more that we realize like what we stand for is relationship building, and really that's where we gained the most, I guess, is like being like relationship building with some of these gyms. Our target market is just active humans, so a lot of our target market goes to a lot of these gyms. So just again, like building relationships with the trainers, with the owners, and just kind of showing them like, hey, we're here to scratch your back too. We're not just looking for you to send us all your hurt people or all the people that are struggling with looking to make some changes with their recovery plans. Like we want to support you and bring a little bit of light to what you guys are doing too. So
Right on.
yeah.
It's like it's more of like a long-term thing.
Yeah.
And I think you're realizing that too, where like a relationship is not a 1 week thing.
No.
Hey, come in for a free trial. I'll crack your neck and you come out.
Yeah.
I said on the last podcast to finish off the podcast last year. Do you guys remember when I talked about how his target market is not like old people with 5 years left?
Yeah. You did say that.
No
I remember.
way.
It's so canceled.
Yeah.
It's so canceled.
That was 2018 Dec.
Yeah. Oh my God. Such a new person. Now.
Such a new person.
It was so funny. Do you remember?
I do not remember that. That's
But-
so funny.
I do.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to reply.
You're like,
Oh my goodness. So you listened to that podcast today.
today. Yeah.
What are some other takeaways? Because I haven't listened to it since editing it before it was released last October. I'm guessing, Matt, you probably haven't engaged with it since last October.
Well, every other night I listen to
You
it.
too did. Yeah,
Other than
I
that.
fall asleep to it.
You have some regrets.
Yeah.
Because you should.
Oh, yeah.
You should have some regrets.
Oh yeah.
What are some other takeaways?
First takeaway originally was, so you're from Alberta, Canada,
That's right.
and we just had a podcaster or a podcast guest by the name of Craig Lines, who is a chiropractic student at Northwestern with Mark, and he is from Alberta.
Really?
Yeah. So,
We
can
should
you
hang
pull
out.
up our video with Craig just to show him the one that he thinks about Canada all the time? Though I would like you to evaluate Craig, and see if you'd like, not necessarily don't put him on the spot and say hire him, but just like let's give some hot takes on Craig, because this dude is from Alberta, loves Alberta,
Sounds good already.
is probably the most like Canadian kid of all time. Yeah, let's do the first one, right? Because that's
Right here?
which one is the one where he talks about all the things about U.S.
Let's
Let's just
So this
figure
is a
it
video,
out.
This is a video of him.
This is a video of him
Oh,
on the
nice.
podcast. He's from Alberta though.
Okay.
Just
Do you-
want,
Canada versus U.S.
House research project, a little review.
Here, let me restart this for our listeners.
yeah, no, this is funny.
All right, so let's do a little in-house research project, a little review. What are your findings of America? What have you learned? What are the new things that you've noticed that are different from Canada?
Well, for one thing, definitely when you guys say brats, back home we would call them smokies. And that was like a really big, that was confusing when
A
I first got
discrepancy,
here.
I would
Yeah,
say.
definitely a discrepancy. Like my roommate would ask if I wanted to
Agreed.
eat brats. And I was like, what the hell? No? Like, what's he talking about? And I was kind of just like shy. I didn't want to talk about it. Another thing I noticed was I have an accent. Personally, I don't hear it. Like, it does not come out. Like, do you guys think I have an accent?
Absolutely. No.
Thank you.
Thick Canadian accent. When you came in here and asked how our night was last night, you guys hit the town, or were you keeping it kosher? Like, I'm 1,000,000% saying keeping it kosher for the rest of my life. So thank you.
Yes.
All right.
So that was Craig, and he lives, breathes, eats Canada.
Canada.
Oh,
yeah.
man.
So
That's awesome.
yeah. So one of his things is he wants to go back and start a chiropractic practice in Alberta. So I mean, if you're a savvy businessman and like don't like Minnesota anymore, you can go and disrupt the whole Lines chiropractic
Yeah.
practice out there.
Are you familiar with Lines Chiropractic? He says his uncles and his father, they have 5 locations in Alberta. Lines, Lynes.
No.
Okay.
Never heard of it.
All right,
I
time to
gotta look
disrupt
it
the
up.
market.
Yeah.
There's a definitely
You just lit
opportunity.
a fire.
Yeah, that
coming
video
I'm
is
coming for you.
hilarious.
Yeah, sorry, Craig.
I did not
Sorry, Craig.
realize how funny that video was.
That's pretty good.
That's
I mean,
hilarious.
he's not lying. I mean, brats. Yeah, it took me a while to get.
Smokies.
Yeah, Smokies.
Yeah, what were some other things that like when you first came to
Oh,
Canada
man.
or from Canada to
Let's
America?
see. What do you guys call like if you're a marketing company and you're putting like it's a sticker on a vehicle?
Bumper sticker.
No, it's like something that you put on the side of the vehicle or on a window. Decal.
Yes.
Sure.
A
yeah.
decal.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Not a decal.
A decal?
Yeah.
That's someone who incorrectly pronounces my name.
Yeah. Well, that's what we call it.
Wow.
hilarious.
Tackle.
A
Yeah.
tackle.
So
Mhm.
I remember I was in a class in my first year when I was in school or in college in Wisconsin, and someone was talking about decals, and I was like, man, college is gonna be hard. I have no idea what she's talking about.
And it was just a tackle.
Yeah, it was.
That is
Yeah,
hilarious.
that's one. I don't know. That's a main one. I've lived here for long enough now where I'm kind of confused on like what's American and what's Canadian. I
Yep.
forget.
Really.
Oh yeah, like
We're
it's
that
just blurred-
blended as a
it's blurred-
society.
It's blurred lines. Like
I truly believe the Smokies versus brats. Smokies is superior. I did not know that
It's
was a
good.
thing.
Yeah.
But Smokies is such a more of a, it's just badass versus I'm gonna eat a brat.
Yeah.
Like that's just like something that's stuck in the back of your throat.
Yeah, it's got to be
And
smoky.
It's got to be Smokies.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. Especially if like you're gonna pitch a brat or a smoky to someone who's never had one. Like smoky's just such a fluid word that people would be like, okay.
It's an embracing word.
Yeah, it's embracing. It's
gives you a
inclusive.
Little background story on what the flavor might be. You know, just a little smoke.
Exactly.
Yes, a lot more flavor in a
Exactly.
Smoky versus a brat.
Yeah. Okay. So the next thing, which I don't know if I have any more takeaways from this the podcast. Otherwise, outside of like the fact that Andrew and I were so stoked that we had you in the podcast studio, and we had never met you for the first time. We were like very excited about that. And there was a lot of tangible and timeless advice in that podcast with like stuff that you and I were saying. I was like, Christ, where did I even draw these words from? It was very fun. But one thing, dude, I mean, I don't know what your average quality is, but I might as well feed it to you, because your average quality is not starting back up your podcast.
That's weak.
Because we're sitting here in 2019, and a year ago we were talking about you starting your podcast back up.
Should have known.
And have you started?
I have not. No.
Have you
I
thought
need to.
about it?
Have you thought about it?
I've thought about it every time I've been on a podcast.
Okay. Yep.
And then I kind of forget about it, but then I got to bring it back. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's got to happen.
I don't think you need to.
I think I need to bring it back, but maybe not publish them. The stuff. I mean, everyone that I know today is from that podcast.
That's what you said in the
Yeah.
podcast.
It's
And
still true.
yeah.
it's
It's
crazy. Yeah.
still true to this day.
Yeah.
Did you have Vinny on your podcast?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you
NJC, and now I'm the best man in his wedding.
no way.
Right on.
It's pretty crazy.
That is wild. That is crazy.
Yeah.
Power
Very cool.
podcasting.
Power podcast.
We said that like
podcasting.
70
That is
times.
So cool.
That is very cool. What's
You
very
could be someone's next best man, and you don't even know it.
Don't even know
Yeah,
it. Just
I
from
don't know.
having a conversation. That's incredible.
That's actually insane. But I mean, I don't think seeing a year removed from when we were like, hey, start a podcast. Like, I don't think you necessarily need to do that with how much success and how much like tangible feedback you actually got from these event throwings. However, I would say like continue to go on more podcasts.
Oh yeah.
Like there are so many podcasts out there that you would fit in that, like the fitness industry is much smaller than you think.
Mm-hmm.
Just start going on fitness podcasts.
I should.
Just
How do you hook it up?
I mean,
maybe
hashtag- be like,
we
hey.
become your PR agent.
Yeah.
And we start booking you.
the to start, if you're like actively looking to like grow it in that way, search hashtag fitness podcast, or search like there's a hashtag app that you can search where you type in hashtag fitness podcast, something niche like that, and it'll give you 25 related hashtags that also you typically contain that hashtag. From there,
Oh, man.
you could then find people that are doing podcasts around fitness and everything that you'd fit the mold of. You'd be a good guest on.
I gotta do it.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't know if you have to do it, but I just, we're just
Well,
dumb
if I
ideas.
want to get rid of this average quality,
Yeah,
gotta do
if you want to
something.
shed it, if you want to get us off your back,
gotta do something.
go for it.
And that's one thing that we'll never let up, because we have people frequently come on the show and say, I want to start a podcast, or I want to restart our podcast.
Yeah.
And when we see that person again, that's one of the top 3 things we bring up immediately is,
Oh yeah,
so how's that podcast going? Or have you thought any more about your podcast? And we are not afraid to to poke the bear on that one.
yeah. I guess Andrew and I have lost trust in the people that have said they're going to start a podcast. Put it that way.
I can see how that's possible.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't think people realize how much like outside of this happens, and that's what I realized in a short amount of time. Like, there's a lot of work that goes into like getting that little clip onto an
Instagram.
actual podcast. Like,
Yes.
yeah. Like that's where I struggle. So
Yeah.
Time and energy.
Well,
man.
that, I
Time and
mean,
energy.
that's where we
T&E.
struggle too. I mean, like we're now in week 31 of
Wow.
3 podcasts a week. That is 99 podcasts. You're the 99th podcast. I'm sorry you're not 100. I'm sorry.
I like
sorry you're not.
99.
99 is pretty dope.
Gretzky.
Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wayne Gretzky.
That's a good one.
Yeah, there you go. Such a Canadian response, by the way.
Yep.
Let's go ahead and identify that.
Ooh, I have a question regarding Canada. Who is bigger in Canada, Wayne Gretzky or Drake?
Oh man.
Good question.
I mean Wayne Gretzky.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you got the hockey background.
I got the hockey background, and I've lived in the States for the last 10 years. Over 10 years. So
Okay.
maybe 2019. I don't know. We should do it. We should ask Craig.
We should ask
We
Craig.
should ask Craig, and we should also ask Instagram.
With
Yeah.
Toronto's push in 2019 and winning
That's
the
true.
NBA Finals,
That's big.
Drake really made a stamp
Yeah.
and made his name known across all of Canada. I was curious. I heard that question on somewhere else, and I was curious your take.
Yeah.
Something else that I'm struggling with, my average quality today at Alter, my first time back working out.
Oh, I wish I would have known that.
Yeah, my ankle wasn't. It's not 100%. It's getting there. But I should have vocalized and asked you some alternatives to
did
do.
I yell at you? I don't even know I'm trying to think like what I did in there.
The things that were like actually pretty painful. The jumping.
The seal
tees,
jacks.
seal jacks,
Yeah,
just being
yeah.
on my toes. Like I haven't worked my calves
Yeah.
in 8 weeks because I try to walk.
shows.
It
Yeah,
shows. They're
yeah.
getting small, and
It's okay.
I appreciate you.
Shows.
I appreciate you holding me accountable. Like I got to get back in there. I got to start doing my calf raises. I need to ask.
Yo, Andy, tiny calves, dude.
I need to ask Lorch how to improve my calves.
Do calf workouts.
The T-Jacks, I was gassed, and my ankle was kind of getting sore. And then you had me running in place, and I was like, oh no. So I ended up like gimping in place. And then the last one was the burpees at the end.
Oh yeah.
I thought I was gonna escape all altar workout and not do a single burpee for the first time ever.
Not
and then
the
we
case.
had a finisher out of the blue that I didn't see on the board. And I was like, crap, I gotta do burpees. So I ended up doing planks, which for 20 seconds aren't very hard. But
Wow.
I was struggling.
I did not know that.
So I should have vocalized.
Yeah, so get this. So we're, I mean, we had 1,200 meters of rows. We did
Yeah.
the AMRAP, four
It was
four
basically
stations of
6,
AMRAP,
yeah,
which
6
was
minutes.
like,
It was a good workout.
it was a very good workout.
Yeah.
I liked the changeup. I always
Yeah.
like changeups when
Yep.
Alter throws that in. Vinny, if you're listening,
Keep up the curveballs.
keep that. Yeah, keep the curveballs up.
Keep us on our toes.
Yeah, keep us on
Keep
our toes.
Andrew working his calves.
And keep Andrew working his calves. Everyone wins. But so we had hit rows, the 1,200 meter rows in 6 minutes,
Oh yeah.
as our second station. And right when we finished, you know, I'm not gonna brag.
Yeah, you finished a good
I'm
30
not gonna-
seconds.
I'm
ahead.
not. I'll say, yeah, I finished earlier than everybody else. Got my 1,200 in, but outside of that, it's not about me. It's not about me because, as you know, I'm high fiving everybody as they're finishing. Andrew finishes. You know, got to help a brother out.
Oh yeah.
And Andrew just looks at me and goes, "Holy shit, dude. I'm going to throw up."
Like, could not catch my breath. Ready to just call it quits. Gonna throw up.
Also, like,
6
dude,
minutes.
I always go through this in my head at Alter, or like, I mean, you could throw this into any boutique fitness place, but
Yeah.
like, dude, there's no place to throw up in Alter.
No, it's not.
I was always thinking, like, these workouts are so damn hard. I think I'm going to throw up. Andrew's saying he's going to throw up. They're working us like we should throw up.
there needs to be.
And there's no throw up station.
No.
Like, dude, if someone, like, what would you do as a coach? I mean, Mr. Sellout every Tuesday, 5:30, 6:30 in the morning. Have you had anyone ever throw up in your studio?
I've never had anyone throw up in the actual studio, but I've
Okay.
had people message me after and say they have.
They
But
have.
Okay.
I think there's like, yeah, if you've never been to Alter, it's hard, but it's not like I don't want people to think like if you show up you're gonna throw up.
It's
You-
it's
you
worthy.
might.
It's
yeah,
worthy.
It's worthy. It's worthy of it.
Mhm.
But I do have a guy that comes in and I think he throws up usually like every other week or so. Yeah.
Just pushes him
But
to
it's
extremes.
not even it's not a conversation really. He's just like, yeah.
This happens.
happened
It's on the
again.
I
regular.
do it.
Yeah.
I'm proud of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
the thing
happened.
about Alter is you can make it as hard as you want it.
Yeah.
It can be a pretty healthy workout. You can touch all the functional movements, or you can push yourself to a limit like none other. And because you have the 60 seconds on to just go all out, you have your 10 seconds of rest, and you're moving to a next thing. That anything we do with the TRX band, I think are the hardest things. Like I can rep out
That was
any
brutal
kettlebell,
today.
anything with a kettlebell. I can eventually like figure it out and push heavy weight. But when I am doing hamstring curls and then
especially 30.
30, yeah, that was exhausting. I ended up taking my feet off those TRX things and saying, Andrew, this is your first day back. You're getting a little break.
Come on, cavies. It's okay.
Calves are
Come on,
feeling
Yeah,
it.
the calves is noticeable.
They're showing.
Yeah, no, it's very showing. It's very telling. But that's really cool. I mean, the fact that you had Vinny on the podcast, and then you eventually became a coach at Alter.
Yeah.
And then not only did you become the coach at Alter, you became probably one of the most popular coaches at Alter. How's that been? I mean, going through that whole process, and how has that kind of translated to, all the events you throw and everything that you've done with the center?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, Vinny and Carrie, they're awesome. And when I started there, it was funny because I think I emailed him after he was on my podcast that never got aired, but I don't think his episode did. I have to look now. I don't think it did though.
That's right. You have like a ton of unaired
I do,
podcasts.
Yeah, get him out of the vault. But yeah, I think I emailed him and it was just like, hey, like I love the concept. This is before Alter even opened, so it was like I think I said I love the concept. Like if there's anything I can do to help out, like let me know. And he wrote me back and he was just like, have you ever coached group fitness? And I was like, no. And he's like, all right, well, do you want to? Like it was like he just like threw it out there, and I was like I was kind of in like a phase in my life where I was just a yes man. I still am, but I'm trying to dial it back a little bit. But everything I was like, yep, let's try it, let's do it. So yeah, we did the training, and it was made friendships there that will be forever for sure. So one calf at a time.
One calf at a time. And Matt, you are the most popular fitness person there, leader, because whenever I try to get in your class, I have to make sure it's at least 72 hours in advance. And I don't know if that's a scarcity thing because you only do a 5:30 and a 6:30 on Tuesday, and a couple of the other instructors have like 2 or 3 days. It could be a scarcity thing, but I also think it's the percentages you throw out. You're a percentage guy. You always
Did I say that again today?
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. And you always let us know the percentages of how far we should have a hip hinge or how far we should be pushing it for a 6-minute AMRAP. Whatever it may be, you got a good percentage. I don't know if you're pulling them out of your ass and you're just like,
No, they're legit.
Yeah, they feel legit. There's a lot of research that goes into those percentages.
I try to throw out one percentage and definitely one hip hinge at least per class.
And you throw out like 7 hip hinges.
Yeah, that's for sure.
For sure.
One posterior chain.
You're like, to be honest, you're like, look, it's a push press. You could do a press with your
A thruster.
your arms, or you can do a thruster with your legs.
Oh,
I'm
you
gonna
guys were
go-
listening. That's good.
I'm gonna go
We were,
70% legs, 30% arms. I was like, wow, this guy gets it, dude. Percentage guy.
Percentage guy.
I freaking love that, man.
You got to get Vinny back. You know they're opening in Edina, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should get Vinny back.
Yeah.
on.
Get
Vinny
him
would
in.
have-
Get him in for some convos like this. He'll love it.
Absolutely. Yes, that needs to happen. Oh man, Vinny
We should
has.
just finish out all the back end shows with like all of our favorite guests from last year.
Agreed.
Honestly, that's,
We're having Mike Schwant.
Oh yes.
He's going to be, so this is a little spoiler, he's going to be our next back end show 31. We're
Jam.
having Mike Schwant on, getting back in touch with him. We've been able to hang out with him last time we saw him was when he had the block party. Was that like the beginning of summer?
Yeah.
They played.
Yeah.
Yes, that was a killer night.
Yeah. He's
Mhm.
awesome.
He's the best.
He
Yeah.
cracks me up.
They just came out with a sparkled seltzer.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Nice.
called Bolo by Bauhaus. It's like
Oh.
it's like their version of I don't want to say it. It's like it's their version of like a White Claw.
Yeah. Bolo by Bauhaus.
And so we're doing a Bolo back end show, which is gonna be sick.
We should wear bolo ties.
We should wear bolo ties, and I don't have a bolo tie,
No,
so
neither
we're
do
gonna
I.
have to
They
pivot
can't be
on
that
that one.
expensive.
No, they can't be. But we got to figure out where we're gonna buy them, right?
Yeah.
Like my first
Rag stock.
I was about to say the same thing. There's no way that Rag Sack has bolo ties.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. Maybe. I don't know.
No, I don't. There's no way.
There must be. There you go.
There's no way that there's bolo ties.
I don't know.
Yeah, and we really don't know. We don't-
Amazon.
yeah, sure. I
Prime.
guess. Yeah, the last time we shopped at Amazon or Ragstock was what? Bocella?
Bocella. Okay, this is a question
Yeah,
I do
wait.
want to ask you, Matt. From your perspective, coming on to Boachella and experiencing Boachella,
Oldest guy on the boat.
not the oldest guy in the boat. There, we had,
Second. No,
Top
no,
five.
dude, you weren't even close. Well, yeah, you might have been top 5
yeah, maybe top 5.
with 65-year-old Kenny. You might have been.
Is
Uh,
Roger
Kevin.
there?
Roger should have.
Roger
been.
should have
he
been.
should
And
there.
he'll be there next
I'm
year.
blanking on his name. It's definitely not Kenny.
Kevin.
Nope.
Kyle.
No.
It's with a K.
We had a man come on from from England. I can't remember his name.
Oh,
It's bumming me.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
It's bumming me out. He because he made an impact on me, and
No,
I'm
he's
blanking on his
a-
name. But he came on from England. I don't know if you ever cross paths with this guy?
I don't think so.
So quick background on this guy. He walked up on the boat with when the 2 cops were coming on the boat, because there had to be 2 cops,
Yeah.
and they were like, he is here for 2 days in Minneapolis. The hotel directed him to the riverboat company to experience a Skyline tour,
Yeah.
and this was the earliest one he could get on. Do you mind him coming on? And I go, it is a paid event, but come on. And I didn't make him pay.
Yeah.
And he ended up walking around the entire boat, had his camera out, like huge smile on his face. He had to be in his 60s, and ends up walking off the boat, looking at Declan and I, and go, that was the best day of my life.
Wow.
We're like,
That's
holy
incredible.
Yeah.
smokes, that's really cool.
Yeah, and like he was on a retirement tour of
Yeah.
the United States. He had flown into St. Paul and was staying at the hotel. Asked the hotel like, "Hey, it's a sunny day on Saturday. Like,
What do I do?
what do I do?" They pointed him towards this riverboat company that we had booked Boachella on, and that's how he got on.
So basically, his idea of what the Twin Cities is Boachella,
Is Boachella.
Essentially,
Which is
essentially.
crazy.
or maybe even America.
America.
Yeah,
yeah.
quite
Allegedly.
possibly.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Um,
We're a representation of this country.
That's incredible.
That's tough to hear.
Yeah,
That's-
it is tough to hear. Your
wild.
takeaways from Boachella. When Boachella 2 happens, what are some of the things that you're like, this has to happen again? You guys crushed it, and areas of improvement, because we always want to one up ourselves with Boachella 2.
June 20th, 2020 is coming up very fast.
yeah.
And we need to prepare.
All right.
So
well,
this
let's
is
see.
why we have you on, actually.
Let's reflect. I mean, it was awesome. I think that the whole thing, like even down to like the DJ, like the stuff before Yam House came on, and then Yam House crushed it. Everything was good. I think that I'm trying to think if there's anything I'd even say to improve. Oh, more snacks.
More snacks.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
that was a.
But that's just I like to eat a lot of
yeah.
snacks.
We went with pretzels, Cheez-Its, and goldfish.
Yeah.
And we're like, everyone loves these snacks. Versus us, we could have done like a full like taco bar.
Ooh,
And
that would have got sloppy.
it
but-
could have gotten very sloppy, and we're just like, let's just do snacks.
No, like the bartenders were on. Like everything was. It was good. Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are
Love to
you
hear
are
that.
you guys doing it with that same company and boat again or no? Don't know yet.
We have
Don't know
no
yet.
idea.
Okay.
I think we're leaning in that direction.
Yeah.
Decky's coming up with ideas where he wants to chain up.
Crazy Decky.
Crazy Decky. He's ready to chain up like 17 boats along each other and on Lake Minnetonka, and have like one boat in the middle with Yam House playing on it again, and have these massive speakers. I was like, holy smokes, this is a lot of moving parts, Deck. I don't know
That
if
is.
wasn't that one of your ideas?
I did say that at one point.
Yeah.
I'm not going to deny it.
It's aggressive.
And I'm
It is
still
aggressive.
I'm still standing behind, as that is a good idea. But ideas are never a reality, so I understand that. But I will say, like, reflecting on the venue that we had
Mhm.
was incredible.
Oh yeah.
So I would not ever steer away. Kind of like Andrew said, we're leaning towards that kind of venue. But man, dude, if we had an open rooftop
oh yeah.
on that boat,
Yeah.
that would change some
be-
things,
that
right?
would change some things for
that
sure.
would change some things, because I really did like the structure.
A tenth of the boat was uncovered. That was a bummer. On the top floor,
Yeah.
Right.
a tenth of a boat
But
was
it's
uncovered.
the thing. It's just so hard to plan though. Like
Yes.
June 20th. Is that what it is? June 20th.
June 20th, 2020.
Yeah. I mean, it could be pouring rain, and then it'd be awesome to be covered.
Correct.
Like, it's
Sure.
Just,
Yeah.
I don't know. We did a boat thing. I don't know if you guys saw. We did
The week before.
Yeah, the
Yes.
week before. Yeah, it was
Mhm.
like they had I think 6 different fitness classes, and then they had a bunch of different like vendors in the health and wellness space, and it was uncovered on top, and it was freezing, but it was still nice. It wasn't raining, so it was still nice to have it uncovered. But that company, I can't remember. I have to look who it was. They were like last minute. If you need to change, like we got you.
Okay.
So I don't know. Maybe that's something they could do too.
Yeah, they keep the
Yeah.
availability there.
Yeah.
The drone footage of that, I remember you posted a video
Oh,
on Instagram.
Yeah.
That was sweet.
Yeah, that was the Brodskis.
They
the boys.
crush.
Always crushing it.
Sam and Ben, man, they're
Yeah.
incredible. We had
They almost didn't bring out the drone because it was like ugly and it was windy, and he's like, I don't know if I should. I'm like, just you should do it.
you should do it.
You
Yeah,
should.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you should probably do
The
it.
content grab is necessary.
Yeah.
We had our good friend Oscar shoot some drone footage. I don't know if you heard this when you were on the boat.
Soda Boy. Have you ever heard of Soda Boy?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
He flew his drone and he was taking footage for us, and he flew over a restricted zone, and while over the Mississippi, and it froze up there, and he went to like the captain of the boat. He came to us and was like, "Can we turn it around?" And they were like, "No, we're not."
No way.
Yeah.
I did not hear this.
So his drone ran out of battery and
he lost it.
lost it.
No way.
Yeah.
I saw them like really like focused, and they were having like a little team huddle or something, and it didn't look good.
It-
So
yeah,
that
that was it.
That was what it was.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, that was like one of the harder parts of
Oh.
Bochella was like transitioning from like all of my friends, best friends, and everybody else having like the time of their life with
Yeah.
Yam House on the boat, and then going like downstairs to make sure people weren't like hammered, and then coming back up and seeing like Oscar having like trying to figure out how to get his drone back, and I was like, dude, like this is so many emotions.
Like I
tied into
want
one
to
day.
party, I want to enjoy this, but I also got to take care of business. And,
Yep.
Right.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
think Oscar understood that.
Oh,
like
yeah.
I had talked to him about it after.
Yeah.
He was a
when
good
I
sport.
saw him. Like, no, he's a great sport and got another drone. It's
Yeah.
Mhm.
hopefully, I mean, he lost some great footage.
Yeah.
If we all can agree on that.
Yes.
We
Yeah.
lost some great footage, but yeah, I mean, that was tough.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting going into Bochella 2020. I think the biggest shock is the time after Bochella. So we came up with the idea 6 weeks before
Yeah.
and
I remember.
executed
Yeah.
for the most part.
Yeah.
Averagely executed. But the people that have come up to us now, and Andrew, back me up if I'm wrong, that have been like, dude, I need to be at Bochella too. Like, when is Bochella? So we just set a date and tell
Yeah.
everybody, June 2020.
Yeah.
June 20th, 2020. But it's very cool to like see that an impact made was like such a cool event or a unique event that everyone's like, I need to be back.
For
Like, I
sure.
need to come back to this stuff. And
Mhm.
so that is, I don't know, the momentum that we built from like not even really having every single person that we wanted there
Yeah.
is going to be interesting for next year.
Well, and it's like, I mean, because it was so well executed, I mean, that next year, I mean, everyone I talked to that wasn't there, even people that don't live in the Twin Cities were like, where is that? Like, I want to come.
Right? Okay.
all my 30-year-old friends were even into it.
Love
so-
that.
All right,
That's
there's
exciting.
demographic.
Yeah, because we could have fit another. We ended up having roughly 140, 150 people on there, and we can fit another 100 on there. So that would be like an encouraging way why to use that spot, because 100 people could fit comfortably.
Yeah.
I don't think it wasn't crowded
Oh,
by any
wasn't,
means.
It wasn't. I mean, it wasn't crowded at all.
Yeah.
Like you could have fit more people, and it would have been comfortable for sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like,
And that
yeah.
rental company can expand to 500 because they can
Wow.
tie up another boat and then ride together.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Shouldn't have told me that.
If that needs to happen, then
If it needs to, we can make it happen.
we can make that happen. But I say we transition to the back portion of the back end show with a what did you learn? So
Wait, do we get your average quality in?
yeah, it was alter.
Okay,
And
okay.
Not
Got it.
speaking, not owning up to my ankle instability and doing an alternative workout. Like I should not have been doing running in place. Like I should have figured out something else to do, but I was too stubborn. So
Sure. We'll let you get away with
So
that
on
one.
Thursday,
Small calves, got to get bigger.
small calves, but yeah.
You're taking away the what I learned today.
Okay, so hey,
Oh, no.
we softballed you in average quality,
Yeah.
so we're gonna put you on the spot here. What did you learn today, Matt?
I mean, I was gonna say that I learned that that was your first workout in 7 weeks because I did not know that at all.
I did fine.
I feel like I was I yelling at you? I don't know.
You when I was doing the push presses, you came
Oh,
in.
yeah.
You had I had a course correct, and I was like, Matt, I'm tired right now.
No, I mean, what else did I learn today? I had a good Tuesdays are a full day, so I learned. I'm trying to think of what else.
What are you doing on Tuesdays? What's like your typical full day Tuesday look like?
Tuesday. So Tuesday basically is wake up at about 3:58 or 4:02, somewhere in there. and then I shower it up, and then I drive to North Loop from Shakopee, and I coach the 5:30 and 6:30 class at Alter, and then I go back home, and then I usually eat some pancakes with the girls, and then
Kodiak cakes or
oh yeah,
There you
Kodiak
go.
cakes,
There
yeah,
you go.
for sure.
Mhm.
And then I see patients starting at 11, and then we have a team meeting every Tuesday at 12:15, and then I see patients again till about 6:30, and then I came here. So it was
wow.
a full day. But yeah, we learned a lot. I guess kind of wrapped up a lot of learning today. So after our event Saturday, we did a little like huddle with our team. We went up to a cabin in Cushing, Minnesota, and with the 6 of us, and we had like a bunch of different vision and goal setting stuff. So today's meeting was pretty much like wrapping up all those loose ends. Yeah, it was good. So just
That's sweet.
yeah, it was figuring out like who's playing what role on the team and what 2020 looks like. We got some fun stuff. So
2020 is gonna be a good year.
it's gonna
for
be a good
everybody.
year, yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, 2020 is gonna be a year where everybody wins.
I think
not
so.
everybody wins.
No.
you know.
No.
Typically, not everyone wins, but the year of 2020,
Everyone will win.
win.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's a good.
That's
bit,
bold
dude.
and true.
Exactly. Real quick about like the whole practice and everything. Has there been is there kind of a story or maybe a success story where you had a patient where you took them to leaps and bounds through your practice? I'd really like to tap into that real quick in terms of maybe some sort of success story or something that really just makes you feel incredible from the work you've done.
Yeah, I have a couple that come to mind. One is like a big mental shift that this patient had from starting care, and the other one's more physical. The physical one was he was a football player, and he messed up his back real bad, had back surgery, and then basically it was a failed back surgery, which can happen sometimes. And he used to, this guy used to pull like, I can't even remember what his numbers were. It was ridiculous, like 600-700 pounds. Like he was a massive dude, and he couldn't lift anything anymore for like the last, I think it was like 4 or 5 years. And not that it was a simple fix, but it was crazy how much, and he's seen everybody, and he was skeptical of coming to see someone else, and he's just like kind of been through the ringer, but nobody ever really watched him actually lift, and just the people that he had seen, they was just like, oh, I got this technique, or I can do this type of work and it'll help you, and nobody actually ever watched him lift. And so what we did is we kind of changed some things with form, and I won't take all the credit on that. I think a big part of it was just getting him back underneath a bar to have the confidence to do it. And once he started loading a little bit more, yeah, he's now back in the gym regular 5 days a week. I don't think he's lifting 600 pounds, but he's like, well, lifting way more than me, that's for sure. And he's doing it.
And that's a lot of
with no
weight.
pain.
If you're saying a
No,
lot more than you.
He's just, he's a strong dude, and he's just going for it with no restrictions, which to me is like a huge win when someone can just get back to doing whatever it is that fills them up, and without having to second guess or be worried about anything. So
That's
yeah.
incredible.
Sweet.
Good
that
for
was
you.
big. That was one of my favorites for sure.
What is that mental story? I know you mentioned too.
Yeah, so that one's a lot longer, and without getting into too much detail about this particular person, she was just has been and was in a really tough place in her life. And I think a big part of our care, we did a lot of work, but I think she really just needed somebody to listen to her, and whether that meant that I was just listening to her physical complaints and we were working on things. I've just been her steady Eddie for a long time, and just to watch her life transform from somebody who had no purpose, who just felt empty, to like now she's just independent, doing her thing, and like really coming into her own. And I think she's in her 50s. It's just that is like gives me goosebumps, because she's like just the how much she's changed since I've known her is just super powerful. And it's not because of anything that I did, just listening and being consistent for her, so yeah. It's wild. Those are some, those are the ones that, you're with people that's not like a typical like, well, I'm a chiropractor and this is what I do, but you're with people all the time. You become part of their lives, and you're listening to like different things that they're dealing with. and the mental and physical thing. I mean, I get super pumped about. I mean, there's such a crossover with all that. So.
And that's one of the coolest things, like having these conversations with you, because this industry is so impactful in people's daily lives. And I'm so excited for one of our best friends, Mark Amick, to slowly creep into this industry and figure out his place in it and try to find how he can help other people improve their daily lives. It's very thrilling to watch him be excited about that, hear the stories that you're able to move with your own methodologies and by also listening to the patient very specifically. All of that intertwined, like I get very excited hearing these stories because I'm picturing like, all right, my dad's has pains for numerous years and just never does anything about it. And all these different things when people are getting just kind of annoyed from pains and just not doing anything about it. But there are the answers. There are people listening, trying to find the solutions and really treat the patients as is. So I just wanted to get that out there and let you know, like, this is awesome.
Thanks, buddy. Yeah.
What's really cool too is like the art of like that story you just told about. I mean, you are making an impact through listening.
Yeah.
Like,
well, as you were talking, I was just like, I was thinking like if I had any advice for Mark, and it seems silly coming out of my mouth, is like actually genuinely care about people. Like, why should that be something you have to like tell somebody? But it's like, I think that's something that sometimes people forget when they're dealing with people, is like, you just have to care and listen. And like some of the growth that comes from that it's crazy.
Yeah, it is very crazy. And I think that is something that I have taken for granted a little bit with this podcast. Being able to sit down with someone 3 times a week, and the only reason and tying the fact that listening makes a better podcast, and recognizing that has helped me kind of, tailor in and try and hone in on that listening aspect, because people ask or people compliment us, and they're like, dude, you guys are such great conversationalists. Like, you guys hold on to different things from conversations and ask these questions that forward on a podcast. Like, how do you guys do that? And really, it's listening. And what's fun about that is how much not saying anything makes a huge impact.
For sure.
It's insane.
Yeah, we did part of that as our drill this weekend, was like the difference between listening and hearing. And I think listening, the type of listening you're talking about is hearing, like actually like soaking in what somebody's saying, understanding where they're coming from, listening with intent, and not just kind of like, my ears are on, I can hear you talking, but it's not like I'm actually hearing you, Yeah, it was a cool drill. I'll send it to you. It's like basically just dissecting like what barriers you have from listening intentionally. And I think for a lot of us, it's like a little bit of angst, like, what do I say next? Like, they're talking, but like, what should I say after that, kind of thing. But sometimes it's just like, you just kind of get caught up in like, well, I got a story too, so I'm ready to piggyback off this as soon as you're done doing this.
Yes.
It's just interesting how like, it's just like being real with yourself. Like, oh yeah, I do that sometimes. I think we all do.
And as podcasters, we do that because I'm like trying to grab something from the thing that you said and then like slowly figure out how to weave it back in there.
Yep.
Because I was just about to say, to transition myself into what did I learn is a beautiful aspect of listening versus hearing.
Yeah.
I'm not going to use that as my what did I learn, but hearing is so vital, and not just treating it as listening. This is not the best transition, but what did I learn has to do with the human body. Tom Brady sticks a towel and baby powder in his center's pants so that his hands don't get wet from the center sweating. So there's no swamp ass. There's a towel in the center's rear end, so when he's got his hands under there and he's underneath center, his hands don't get wet. And
It's a big move.
He doesn't risk a fumble. That's how thoughtful that man is, and that's why he's arguably one of the best.
He's the GOAT. Because he doesn't get swamp ass from his center.
From his center. How crazy is that?
He was hearing.
He was hearing.
Yeah.
He was hearing, exactly.
He heard a need.
He heard a need. I learned that because I ran a marketing campaign today for Aegis, who is a underwear, undershirt, socks company, like luxury brand, and we used the Tom Brady article and targeted Patriots fans with this article, and like, you want to be like Tom Brady, we have the perfect products for you. And I was cracking up. Like, I read this article and I was like, this is hilarious. Caleb and I like created some content.
Yeah, where'd you
for it.
find that article?
Caleb came across it.
Classic.
Yeah, classic Caleb.
Classic.
He's always in the weeds.
The only guy who was actually going to find that article.
Right? A Business Insider article. That's what I learned today.
In between Facebook garage sale.
In between Facebook garage sale. Yes.
Dude, that's incredible.
Shout out Caleb.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Shout out Caleb.
What'd you learn, Deck?
Oh God, dude, I had a wild day. God, my
Started
average
with the
quality.
boys.
Oh, yes. No, it did start with the boys. It ends with the boys.
Yeah.
And that's how a full day goes.
That's right.
But what I learned was I forget the guy's name, but it just came out less than 24 hours ago on Tuesday that a guy who he just got signed on to Saturday Night Live. He then got ousted and canceled from Saturday Night Live, fired within like 24 hours.
Oh, last name Gillis. Stan?
Yeah. Oh, God. I don't know.
Yeah.
Someone look it up. I don't know. But Shane, maybe. It might be Shane Gillis. I think that sounds right in my head. But it's, and Andrew and I were talking about this with, actually we will talk about this with Khadijah Cooper on Tuesday. And she's a comic in the Twin Cities. And
Shane Gillis. Yes.
Shane Gillis. Yeah. So Shane Gillis got hired at, for SNL,
Mhm.
first time ever. And then within 48 hours or 24 hours, I forget what the time frame was, he was fired because some videos of his comedy specials surfaced from 15 years ago or however long ago, surfaced about him telling like gay jokes or something. And people got outraged, and then SNL fired him. So I was just like sitting here like, out of all the people that get canceled, we're looking at a comic
Mm-hmm.
who's telling funny jokes about being gay or whatever and got canceled by the culture. And while people are kind of, what I learned, I guess, was that specifically, but my thoughts on it, trying to be a comic, was comedy has never been in a better spot because you can't cancel comedy. You can't cancel comedy strictly from this fact that like our intention is not to offend or do anything wrong to people. Degrade, exactly. Point out or exercise some sort of community in a negative way. It's strictly to make the person in front of you laugh.
Yeah.
And however you want to do that is however you want to do that. That's the creativity of comedy.
And you're going to hit it with different...
Exactly. Yeah. And it's not like I'm coming to this like magic euphoria that like I'm discovering. It's everybody in the comedy scene right now is focusing in on that. So if you look at all the different specials released, for those people who watch Netflix, go watch Dave Chappelle, go watch Bill Burr,
Whitney Cummings, Aziz
Ansari. I mean, all these people are coming out with specials, and listen to their content. They are purposely going after things that would, in quotes, get them canceled.
Mm-hmm.
We just saw Joe Rogan last week, and spoiler, very similar thing, and it's hysterical.
Mm-hmm.
But I love the fact that even to this day, it's comics, it's podcasters, it's those kinds of people that are willing to put themselves out there and basically turn a blind eye to that kind of stuff, because at the end of the day, when you remove all that stuff, like, what are your intentions? To make people laugh. Right. And I love that creativity, and I think Shane Gillis will explode now. He's going to have a comedy special in probably a year, and I'm stoked for it. Stoked for comedy.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my what did I learn?
Right on, man. And I think being a content creator, that is true to us when we're trying to pass a message along of a brand, center of movement, pass a message along of a brand, Backpocket, that could be received in the wrong way at times. And we've
been canceled multiple times.
We've been canceled multiple times. I guarantee, Matt, you've never been canceled because you're the best dude.
No, I've been canceled.
You've been canceled?
I'm sure.
Yeah. There's people out there that are canceling people.
You almost canceled me today because I didn't know you had a bummed ankle.
Yeah. I was like, why are you being so mean to me? Why are you trying to make my calves work harder? But that's what it is. As a content creators, there's the avenue of possible negative reaction, and we're trying to pass it along with intention
Yeah.
to positively affect others. So I love that you brought that up, but let's finish it off with a feel-good story, Dec. I know that you said you had a preemptive one.
Yeah, my preemptive feel-good story was you coming back and actually working out for the first time in 7 weeks.
Thanks.
I mean, if you're going to tune back in and follow Andrew's saga, I mean, I will. I really do want to put together a video of Andrew's saga of his mental psych.
Here's an image of my ankle, all black and blue, and then here's an image of it looking fairly decent.
Yeah.
But the calves is fairly small.
Fairly small, and that is not part of anything that should make you feel good. At all. Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
But yeah, my feel-good story was literally just waking up this morning at 5 with my best friend, going to a workout with my buddy Matt Wiest. And it's just like, that's home, right? Like that's, you get to go to altar, you get to work out, and you get to start your day on the right way. Andrew's like, dude, we just got one hell of a start to a day because we just had a tidal wave of inquiries and great things coming through the Backpocket wavelengths.
Some good movement today.
Some good movement today.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I would say the feel good story is. Is there anything you'd like to add, Matt? You've been a great guest.
No, I mean that's how I like to start my days. So I gotta piggyback off that.
Yeah, I do also want to
good to see the boys.
Absolutely, no, it's great catching up with you. I do want to mention the one time you did show up to your 5:30 class, not knowing that you actually had a 5:30 class.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That was like what, 2 weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago.
It was like a month ago. Probably,
Okay,
yeah.
sorry.
Not that I didn't know. I set my alarm for the wrong time, and all of a sudden I was like, oh, I guess that was half an hour off.
I guess I'm gonna go. I guess I'm gonna go coach class now.
Yeah.
But yeah, man,
Yeah,
absolutely
that was
phenomenal. Anything else, Andrew?
I just want to leave on this note. Matt, thank you for joining us. I think this is a trend that we're going to continue to follow, having previous guests on and catching up, because it's great to share an hour conversation undistracted with people such as yourself.
I love it. Thanks, fellas.